Alright, how you doing everybody? So, as you can see in front of you, I am going to be starting over, and I'm going to be starting with this match right here. It's for a couple reasons. Well, the first one is that I actually deleted the last project entirely. Whoops. I switched over the OS, and I was like, I can just keep the information and just retrieve it later in Windows.old. But for some reason, nothing's transferred over into Windows.old. First time that's happened to me, and so it's just gone. Thankfully, it's only 15 seconds, so that's just not much for compared to what I've done. You know, 15 seconds, I can just leave it alone, whatever. It was going nice, but whatever, it's gone. So I'm starting a new match. I do want to eventually do that match, but I figured I should set up the Hell Ninja. So I dug deep and I found a jobber. I also don't know this nigga's name. Doesn't really matter. He's a jobber. But being a jobber in the Astral Fight League, it does not mean you are without strengths. This is someone I think everyone is important, even the role of a jobber. Just because you're ultimately going to lose doesn't mean you can't look really strong and even be considered a bit of a fan favorite. And it's going to kind of lead into the other topic I want to talk about, which is match flow and choreography. I am heavily influenced by pro wrestling. I've done a bit of pro wrestling myself. I finished wrestling school, and right before I was going to start being booked to do matches, I got my current job in IT, and they were like, you can't do pro wrestling. And obviously, pro wrestling was paying me nothing, and my IT job is paying me a lot of money. So I don't do pro wrestling now, but I still went to the school. I took, hundreds of bumps a night. So I get pro wrestling. I love it. I've been watching it for many years, and it's something I definitely want to incorporate into my stop motion. And if you've seen my work, you kind of know that's the case. One thing I have kind of thrived on is also kind of being an MMA guy. I've done MMA for a lot longer than I've done pro wrestling. I've done MMA for about 5 years, 5 to 6 years, and that's mostly more my bases. I love jiu-jitsu and stuff, so I always want to incorporate that as well. However, when it comes to stop motion, I feel like I've leaned more into the MMA side of choreography rather into the pro wrestling side, and I see myself now seeing the importance of wanting to switch over to a more pro wrestling style of choreography. I'm not sure if it really translates too much in what you're actually watching, but it's more the ideology and how I will be choreographing and kind of booking these fights. In the MMA side, by that I tend to mean it's more chaotic. It's more the fighters are reacting to each other as if it was a real fight. So instead of, hey, I know I'm going towards this spot, I will allow the matches to kind of organically, go wherever they're going to go based on how the two fighters are reacting to each other. I'm still definitely going to keep that, but in pro wrestling, the advantage of that, of the pro wrestling mindset and it being scripted, is that I can set up cool moves. Like, I can think of a cool move like, oh, hey, I want to do the Ryu Hayabusa special, which, if you don't know what that is, I'm going to animate it. But essentially, I think it's called a primary load or something like that. It's when the guy is hugging him, and then he picks him up in the air, and then turns around, and while spinning, he drives his head into the ground. Splat. It's a very anime move. I think Rock Lee did it it was going to do it to Gara or whatever. I think Rock Lee was going to do it. But that's the Ryu Hayabusa special. I'll put these guys back up. And to set something up like that, where I want to do that move in the match, but I'm kind of doing MMA kind of mindset in terms of like allowing the match to kind of be chaos. While it can lead to, you know, kind of inventing moves on the fly that are really cool, it kind of hurts in me trying to set up a Ryu Hayabusa special or a particular spot that I want to do. So I'm going to kind of lean. Well, I would say it was more imbalanced. I think I can have a good mix of both, but I feel like I was doing like 80% chaos MMA style and 20% wrestling style, like setting up moves and everything like that. And I think I'm going to go more towards 60-40 wrestling chaos. The chaos is definitely good for scrambles and stuff like that, but if there are some moves that I want to do, it'd just be better that I actually have more thought out choreography rather than leaning into chaos and pure reactions. I think it'll allow for me to also have fights that are closer and where one side isn't dominating the other fighter for as long. Some of my fights, I think, and well, this is going to be the next part of this video. I'm going to do a film analysis of my first fight, and I want to do other film analysis of my fights so I can kind of express what I'm doing, or like what is going through my mind, or what I think was going through my mind when I was animating it, and kind of my thought process behind everything. And I'll just kind of jump into that. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my match. I'm going to pause this song. It's a wonderful song. And I'm going to go ahead and switch the video over to this. And this is my the first full-length match that I've done. I actually consider it to be my best match that I've done. I don't think I've topped it, or if I have, I don't believe I've topped this match in terms of just raw choreography and just raw product. I do think my, maybe the production value has increased and my ability to animate has increased, but in terms of the actual fight itself, I think this is the best match that I've done. So I'll watch it. I'll watch it once all the way through, and then I'll watch it a couple times, or maybe I'll watch it again, but I'll pause at certain points.
Welcome to the Eternal Ring.
That is Caitlin, my wife, talking by the way, and I have not done that again. The Tekken 7 sound effects really work. Probably gonna stick with them. Although I think I'm gonna use other ones from other games, like the Guilty Gear counter. So a huge emphasis for what I was going for in these transitions is I wanted to mix MMA, pro wrestling, all kind of forms of fighting into one kind of cohesive move set, which is why I kind of used people I didn't really know who they were. I guess that's a Shadow Ranger, and the other guy's just a nameless G.I. Joe Ninja for the Cobras. Yeah. That was a cool effect. I don't even know how I did that. Alright. No, that was dope. So yeah, I was watching through again. I was paused at some points. Yeah, in terms of a full fight though, I think that was my best. A lot of back and forth. It seemed like a very fair, even fight throughout the whole thing. And just one person kind of pulled through just on raw brutality and just wanting to get the win. He wanted it more. I want to say I think that's expressed in this fight. So this entrance, I was kind of expecting this to be why this entrance is so chaotic here. It wasn't until like around this point right here when I was animating it when I was like, hey, you know what? I kind of want to make this into a match. This was supposed to just be a little a test for that. This flying German suplex. I just had an idea for someone who's just flying into suplexes and then also chaining them. And then at this point I was just like, oh, you know what? Man, this could just be a match. So I just went ahead and stuck with it. That kick, I love that kick. He charges it from. So this is where, and I will kind of explain the transitions here because I think it's important. Obviously, this was set up in pro wrestling to sign up for, or set up the German suplex, but I'm also establishing that Shadow Ranger, the guy in blue, is, you see his stance here. It's he is a very martial arts style, striking. He's using a lot of Taekwondo, because that's why I'm having him use Hwarong's voice. He's using a lot of kicking techniques, Taekwondo. You'll see him use, I guess, a more Dutch style kickboxing and Muay Thai. He's going to kind of blend all of them, but also use pro wrestling when he has to. But that was a good teep there. Can I slow this down just a little bit? I want to slow this down a little bit. Let's go 7.5.
Welcome to the...
Whoa, you don't gotta do all that. Okay, well, dug on great there. Alright. He did the teep. Goes into the German suplex combo. So you see, let me control this here. The Shadow Ranger is setting up. He does a fake here. So you see, he does a fake, and then he goes with the low kick. So he fakes with the other side there. He fakes with the other side with the hip turn, and then throws a leg kick on the other side. And this is it's something you would see in a real fight. I mean, I think it's in the UFC or something like that. And then right after that goes into the straight high kick. The guy was not ready and got knocked down. Charges that up and lands a ridiculous head kick. Leads into a combo. He grabs it again. Now, at this point, I wanted to say, alright, obviously this ninja's getting dominated. I need him to come back. And I want to establish his style as more of a grappler. He's a ninja, but he does a lot of grapples. So, obviously, he goes into a homicide backdrop. And he gets transitioned with pro wrestling. So, I want to establish a pro wrestling here, and he responds with pro wrestling with the reverse into the DDT. A backdrop. He was going martial arts style. The red ninja was saying, okay, or was saying to himself, I'm losing the striking battle. I need to switch this over to a wrestling style, pro wrestling style. And he acquiesces and gets the counter, and follows up with some more pro wrestling and taunts him. So he's saying, if you want to take it there, I'm willing to go there as well. And he taunts him after winning the pro wrestling exchange, even though the red ninja brought it on. So I also want to establish, Hwarong, however his name is pronounced in Tekken. I've been playing Tekken for like 20 years, or more. I still don't know how to say his name. But he's a cocky guy, so he's taking his voice. I wanted him to also be cocky. And that's when he throws out the flying belly to belly. As a ninja, he did it really fast. This move is ridiculous. I didn't really know how I was going to animate it from like this point on, because I was like, what would a body even do in this circumstance? I think it ended up going pretty well. And then another crazy homicide backdrop. I think it's just called the backdrop driver or black drop suplex. I think that was a cool move. I just kind of thought up on the spot. Goes into the cattle mutilation. Brings it into the tiger suplex after flip out. Double tiger suplex. And then ends it with, what is this? Really just a power bomb? Just a very nasty angle. And at this point I wanted to establish, hey, these guys are just trying to kill each other. This is no games. And my hope was at this point you kind of stop seeing them as action figures and more as two individuals fighting, legitimately trying to kill each other. And I get that idea from Japanese pro wrestling. At a certain point, their matches stop feeling like, if you watch those matches with like Tetsuya Naito and like Okada, and like Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, and those guys, when they're doing their matches and main events in New Japan, they were legitimately just, it stopped feeling like a pro wrestling match, and it kind of started feeling like they were legitimately trying to kill each other. And I wanted to kind of express that, where like you kind of lose the idea of this being a pro wrestling match, and you're kind of into them, like, or you're kind of watching them like, oh my gosh, like, is this legal? Are they actually trying to kill each other? So you see, everything is targeting the head and neck area. He returns the taunt. Now this was a block. I kind of messed up there, and I was just like, I'll just go with it. And at this point, he's doing this, kicking them in the back of the head, and the Red Ninja is looking at him while he's doing it, but he's just biding his time to recover. But I want to express that at this point, these two dudes hate each other. This isn't a friendly competition. This isn't a competition anymore. These guys hate each other, and they're trying to kill each other. Pretty much like you see in MMA or like boxing, when there's like a heated rivalry or something, or like a heated match. They're talking smack to each other, and you can tell it's for real, and they're really trying to kill each other. That's kind of what's the point of this. So the stomp and the disrespect. I absolutely love that reversal with the spinning Uranage. Yeah, and at that point too I was trying to establish they hate each other. I do like them. This is a very pro wrestling thing. I found this transition to be seamless. Blocking the kick and going to an Uranage. I feel like pro wrestlers should do that more. I don't see it often. So, and at this point it's like, okay, yeah, they're trying to kill each other. Now this is going to be a match that turns into people trying to kill each other. So he's trying to break the arm with the arm bar. He rolls through. He transitions to the triangle. Oh, I didn't mean to go back that far. I'm sorry. He goes through. He transitions to the triangle here, but he stands up and reverses it into the power bomb and throws his head into the wall. Very much, hey, I'm trying to kill you type stuff. But he also transitioned to a cool pro wrestling move, spinning. I mean, sit out pile driver. And this is where I think I did a better job of expressing that this is a fight. Obviously, you get a crazy sit-out pile driver here, and if you watch Channel Ninja, he takes a second to kind of, while you know you can't give your opponent much time, but he takes a second to breathe. As you see, just a small dip in the head, and he gets up, and you see him kind of laboring through this. He's going through pain. And there's clear labor, and even him trying to yell out, hype himself back up. He's laboring through it. There's a sense of, I don't want to be here doing this, but the victory is within hand. So take a breath, hype yourself up, go for the finish. Spinning elbow, high kick, powered up, get him in the air. This was a Hwarong move. He did that Tekken 7 to extend combos. Still don't know how I did that effect. I think it looks really cool. Anyhow. That sound effect is from Diablo. And I had the dynamic ending, and I had this in mind because I knew these were going to be here. Or this is some things on the side, so that's why I have them closing on the side. And of course, plays off with the music. I think, in terms of everything, this has been my best performance, or my best fight that I've animated. I do love this ending sequence a lot too.
벌써 끝이야? 괜찮아.
Yeah.
너 말이야. 움직임이 너무 둔하다.
I think that's kind of covers what I wanted to talk about. One final thing is I will be streaming tomorrow morning. In the morning I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to start doing this fight that I have, the ninja versus the wrestler, and yeah, hopefully I can see maybe a couple people if you cast can stop by. If not, it'll be up for on Video Demand, so you can always watch it later, see how I'm animating. And I expect to get much better performance. Already the PC is handling much better with drag and frame. I don't think I'll have choppy playback anymore. I think it'll be smooth. So I think the editing experience will be a lot better. Hopefully you guys can join in. If not, please give a thumbs up if you can. Try to help the algorithm trying to get seen out here. And if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, because just, be honest with yourself. Be honest with me. Take care, you guys. I love you, and I'll see you guys.